In the last video, we talked about how the reflective mind can get in the way of enlightenment. Let's flip that a bit. Today we're going to talk about how we can use the reflective mind in order to help us become enlightened. What up, world? This is Spirit. My name is Russell, and let's talk about logic. Logic is the means by which we formulate and construct our thoughts and ideas in order to build an understanding about reality. There's no getting around it. We use logic every day. The problem that logic can present is when we're using it against ourselves, namely to uphold an illogical assumption, delusion. In enlightenment, we can use it to justify the ego and our egotistical beliefs or thoughts or mental habits. The difference between logic and an enlightened mind and an unenlightened mind is that logic is not being used to enforce the ego. And most people, in their ignorance of what the true nature of their ego is, they constantly use it to enforce the ego. Being logical is easiest and most useful when the ego is not involved. Think about your use of logic at work, for example. Imagine that you're a detective or a scientist. You use logic to take a situation or an item, break it down piece by piece in order to understand it better. Now imagine that it wasn't so unpersonal, that there was a close friend or family involved in a detective case. It won't be long before you get taken off that case. It's hard to use logic objectively in that situation. That's why when we come home from work, everything is so personal again. Our logic is starting to be used against us. The ego becomes the main focus, and it begins to cloud our judgment and makes us fall back into mental habits and things that we know aren't good for ourselves. The process of enlightenment is the deconstructing of the ego. Be like the scientist or the detective when it comes to your own ego. Don't identify with it. That's the trick. Remember and meditate on your infinite nature and feel how the weight is lifted off of your shoulders as you become free of the burden of the ego. Again, logic works best when the ego is not in the way. So when it is in the way, turn your logic inward and use it to deconstruct the ego until it loses its control over you. That's it for this one. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Got any suggestions for a new topic? Hit me up. I'm open to it. And I'll see you in the next one.